much. Name's Denny. I am a retired Green Beret. I retired here at a 7th group in Florida. But like a lot of us in this profession, a lot of our brothers and sisters, when we break in magnificent, wonderful ways. I equate it to that NASCAR or performance car that's just doing laps, right? It is going and going and going. Things are falling apart, but the mechanisms are still held together by centrifugal force and, a good faith and will. And it's just going. But the moment it pits, the moment you actually take a break, you're not able to get that car back up. And that's what happened to me in 2019, coming back from my last combat trip. Injuries and mental health issues, everything was just too much. Definitely the last straw on my back, and I broke down. I had to get a lot of help, and we're not talking just a visit to the doctor or maybe just going to one clinic. It was all hands on deck. Let's save Denny. And through that journey of multiple years, I realized that A, it's time to hang it up. And B, I have to figure out how to keep myself together. And through all that work, I was able to finally start recovering and healing. And I found one thing that a lot of people weren't talking about, and that was mindfulness. There was a lot of things like there's always an injectable, there's always a pill, there's always the neck surgery. But what happens when you try everything? I got a fused neck. I've got 2 feet that were cut up and worked on, and nothing worked. Nothing was able to get the pain to go away. So what do? I trust in people, and I picked up mindfulness and started practicing and running with it. And then I realized what we all need is connection. All of us. We need our brotherhood. We need the camaraderie because, and I'm sure as you guys know, our soft professionals here in the Northwest Florida area and in a lot of other areas that are hubbed out away from the flagpole, we don't have a support structure when you break down, when you decide to retire, when you decide to go through a med board. You're on your own. It's uncharted territory. They would rather push you aside and say, hey, just, don't die.
Right.
So what I realized was there's a lot of people that need connection, that need brotherhood, that need a positive connection with people that aren't part of the negative echo chamber of society. People, we as human beings, especially when we're down and we're depressed and we're going through anxiety and mental health issues, it can be really comforting to wallow in that, to sit and stay in that. And one of the things I started doing with Security Halt, the podcast, is just amplifying the voices of positivity with our team room talk, being able to engage in laughter and engaging in comedy, but bring on professionals are willing to give us information, real solid information of how we can get better. And then the peer-to-peer support group started because, man, I got tired of hanging out in the same lobbies, chatting about the same negative shit over and over and over. And I'm like, none of this is helping me. Like, the problem isn't society. The problem is that I'm not focused on the present moment and the good that's in my life. My family, my wife, my actual friends, the tangible people are right there sitting here talking about the negative shit over and over. I mean, you know what? Peer-to-peer support, that's a viable option. What does it take? Some work and a certification and a little bit of training. So I started a peer-to-peer support with one other friend, and we were doing it first in person. And then that grew, and I realized, you know what? I have Zoom. I know how to make a website. Like, why not bring this out to the masses? Why not hold one night where people can come together? And whether it's 7 people, 10 people, 15 people, or just me and one other person, that's my opportunity to tell somebody, hey, you're not alone. There's a way out of this. Here's some options. We all need a guy. Batman has Alfred. Spider-Man now has that chubby kid.
whatever the chubby kid's name
his name is, Lloyd, Frank, whatever it is.
Every good heist has the guy in the van that's typing on the computer. Yeah, the monkey typing on the computer.
Exactly. And when I was at my worst, I wanted to say there was no option. I didn't want to Google. I wasn't really thinking about what I could do to get better. But one thing we do in our peer-to-peer support, we were able to bring other people that have gotten help and know how to access care And we're able to be your guy on the chair, on the computer. Hey man, I'm not doing good. I need access to care. Cool. I know an organization that's right in your neck of the woods. Here's the information. Or, hey, I'm in a crisis point. We actually had this happen. I am right now in crisis. What do I do? Let's get you to an emergency room. Let's map it out. Let's get you there. I want to be on the phone with you while you get there. It's moments like that you're like, holy shit. Like, we can save lives. We can help each other recover. It's hard. I know it's hard to talk. It's hard to be vulnerable. But that's the greatest strength that I discovered. Being willing and able to share my story and say like, hey, this is where I was and this is where I'm at now. I'm not all these things. I don't identify with all the things I've overcome. Yeah, it takes constant work and it takes being disciplined. But we know discipline. That's our fucking bread and butter, man. Like that, we know how to be disciplined and motivated. So once we know what it's like to be living a better life and stick with it, we can bring that to somebody else and say like, hey, I was right there with you. I know it's hard right now, but it won't always be hard. And we don't really engage with that anymore. We're leaving it. We're outsourcing our mental health issues to a system that is depleted of providers. There's not a lot of caregivers out there. There aren't. Right now, in our area right now, Northwest Florida, if you call TRICARE to get a provider, you're looking at maybe a 30 to 45 minute phone call to try to get you with somebody that is within network. And maybe you'll find one provider that can take you on as a client. So we need more people that are willing to engage in what I call it, and it's not my trademark, it's something that I grew up with in 82nd. We called it LGOPS, little group of paratroopers. If your friend's in trouble, help him stay afloat. Check in on him. Get him to your military care provider on base, or if he's already a transition veteran, help him find a resource, help him connect with BetterHelp, help him connect with other resources. That's what we need, an all-hands approach, because we're a connective tissue. We can get you into one of our peer-to-peer support groups, talking, understanding like, wow, like Denny's positive, Ryan's positive, David over here, he's positive, he's been through the same things. If he can do it, I can do it too. And you might not get a provider that next day, but like, oh man, I got an appointment for next week. Fuck yeah, cheer you on, help you stay positive. Then you get your first appointment. Then you start making real goals and you start working through with that therapist, and that therapist connects you to a psychiatrist. So you get access to care. And before you know it, you're not crawling. You're walking and then you're running. And then you can try all different modalities. So yeah,